Hello and welcome back to The Flip Side. I am your host Carla. Today is actually based on a coaching session I did. I do one-on-one elite mindset coaching with young athletes, and this is what came out of one of them. So, this one's for my overthinkers. Been there, done that, still do it sometimes. And so I've set out the main tools that I use, and I think they can be super effective. I have tools to use in the moment when you're feeling that overthinking spiral creep in. And I have ones that you can work on outside of the time of when you're overthinking and lean on other people or lean on data. So that's what I'm going to talk you through today. I've got 5 different tools. 2 of them are for not directly in the moment when you're doing the overthinking spiral, and 3 of them are for in that moment. First thing we're going to start with is one I adapted from Sammy Palmer. If you haven't listened to the episode with Sammy Palmer, I would highly recommend it. It was one of the favorites. It has one of the highest listens, and that is for a reason. It is a fantastic episode. So I've adapted a little bit of her model of the dice, which I'll explain to you, because I just loved the concept of being able to see other perspectives or gain other perspectives in your own situation. The dice is all about checking in with others and what they can see from your situation. So if I have a dice and I sit it face up with number 1 looking at the roof, number 1 is your perspective. It's what you see, it's what you live. And if you look at the other sides of the dice, you can't see it because you're face up, but all of that dice is you. So if you have others around, they might see different numbers on the dice, different sides, different perspectives, and they can weigh in on what they think and what their expertise or area is, so that they can help you get a more real version of what's going on, something that's actually closer to reality rather than what's in your overthinking spiral. So, for example, I might think this is something that's happened to me recently, and I can use this example throughout. So I have had this rash come up on my face, and from my perspective, it's just like, this is the worst thing in the world. I don't want to go out and see people. I can't put makeup over it. If I can't put makeup over it, I literally don't want to see anyone. So this rash is itchy, it's red, it's from my forehead down the sides of my cheeks and onto my neck, and I'm so stressed out about it because I don't want people to see me like this. And that, I know, can sound very vain and superficial, but it's just something that I've dealt with for a long time that makes me super, super self-conscious. A little bit of a vulnerable moment here. So I'll check in with the people on the dice. Now, the key here with the people on the dice is that they have to be people that you trust to give you a real perspective. It can't just be people that you think they're going to be your cheerleaders. It's not only cheerleaders you want here. You don't just want hype people. You want people that will tell you the honest truth. And so they're the people that you go to for feedback, for positive or negative feedback. They can be partly hype people, but they have to be people that you truly feel like you can be vulnerable with and they can get real with you. So they might see another perspective of the dice. So some people that I like to lean on for some real perspective, some people that will tell me the truth, are my friends. I have a couple of friends that I'm very close with that will give me very real opinions and not just hype me. I have Sean, my partner. I have my coach. I have my brother, that are really people that I'll go to when I feel like I need to be vulnerable, but I need some very real feedback. And I went to a few of these people during this time, and I said, I just don't want to leave the house. I'm going to cancel my shift. Like, I don't want people to see me like this. I'm feeling so uncomfortable, feeling so embarrassed. I look disgusting. That whole absolute spiral. And in these moments when I felt like this in the past, it's just so, so hard to pick myself up. And so the dice is something that really helps, because if you can lean on those people and they go, yeah, okay, it's a bit inflamed right now, they're not just going to tell you, no, it looks great, it looks so good, like you're so fine, I've never seen your skin better, right? They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you the real truth. Yeah, it's a bit inflamed right now. But you know what? If people think about it, they're going to think about it for 30 seconds. they're going to move on with their day, and they're going to go back to thinking about themselves. Very, very true, very real advice, right? Have you ever thought about how terrible someone's rash, skin, whatever it was, for more than 30 seconds? No one is thinking about it. Something that even felt more impactful was, I think what Sean said to me was like, well, try not wearing makeup today and do it as a test. See if people treat you differently. See if they're different to you. And so even though I, in my head, the entire time that I had to go to work without makeup because the makeup was irritating the rash, I'm thinking, God, I'm so embarrassed. They're all thinking about it. And I come back at the end of the day and I've basically run this experiment of, did people treat me differently? And of course, the answer is absolutely no. So just having those perspectives from other people to say, like, this is the reality of it, like, what's actually true about your lived experience that you're blocking out? Because we block out so many things that we just don't want to believe. And so now I haven't worn makeup for 2 weeks, which has been so intensely hard for me. But I had those real perspectives. So I want you to think about here, who can see the sides of your dice that you can't see? Who are those people that you can really trust to give you direct, positive or negative feedback, and you feel like you can truly, truly be open with? That is technique 1, the dice, leaning on those other perspectives. So this first one is not to do directly in the moment of overthinking, but to build that network and find those people and have them on hand for when the moment comes. Now, technique 2, this one is for in the moment. It's called the zoom out. I named it this, but a lot of people have done this and talked about this. I don't remember who I directly heard it from first. I know it was in a podcast, and I have a feeling it was Alex Hormozy, potentially. The idea is, in the moment when you start to feel the spiral, let's see if this is something you'll care about in the future. So that's the zoom out. We want to look at a time scale here and rate how much we'll care about it in the future. So how much will I care about this in 24 hours? So for me, let's say the skin thing. How much will I care about this in 24 hours? Okay, I'll probably still care about this in 24 hours. Probably like a 5 out of 10. Like, okay, I felt embarrassed. In 1 week, okay, it's going down to like a 3. In 1 month, okay, so I'm 2 weeks into not wearing makeup. I'm halfway through this process and it's still hard for me, but I'm caring less and less each time. So I'm going to put this at like, I'm at around 2 now. I can go there and I can feel okay about myself. Now, in 1 year's time, am I going to care what my patients, the uni students, what they thought about my skin for 1 second while I was teaching them in 1 year's time? No, I'm not. It's at a 0. I'm way at a 0. In 5 years' time, am I going to remember this and care about this? Absolutely not. In 10 years' time, am I going to remember this and care about this? Absolutely not. So if you are spiraling in the moment, can you take yourself, zoom out on all those time scales, 24 hours, a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years. And if you can see that this will probably be super, super insignificant, then it's easier to let it go in that moment. And so I did that going into uni, and it's really challenging for me at uni for some reason more than my patients that I work with. At uni, I find maybe because the students are quite close to my age, it just feels more intimidating for me. And so it was like something that I had to do. I had to be like, okay, am I going to care about this in 10 years? No. Like, really, does this matter? Do I need to have so much stress and so much insecurity about this thing that I am truly not going to care about in as little as a month or a year? No. So try and do that. Think of a specific moment that's caused you a lot of overthinking, a lot of stress, and try and zoom out at each level. I think that's a great one for in the moment. I have a very similar one for number 3, which I love. It's called the deathbed test. And I think you can kind of imagine where this one is going. The deathbed test is in the moment when you become aware that you're doing the spiral. You're like, so will I care about this when I'm 80 plus years old on my deathbed with my family? I maybe have kids, grandkids around me that care about me and that I care about and love. Am I going to think about what the third year students thought about my rash on my face in 2026? Probs not. Props not. So that makes it super easy to zoom out. Again, it's very similar, but it's just on your deathbed. Your last thoughts, the things you're going to be thinking and doing. Is that going to be even a speck of importance? No, it's not. So I think that's a really, really good one. I worked with someone on this one specifically with their goals and thinking about, like, am I going to be worried about if I made this one team or if I impressed this one coach in the grand scheme of my goals, and I get to the goals and then I get to the end of my life, is this one game, is this one decision, is this one competition, is this one selection going to matter? No, because I'm going to be successful. It's not an if, it's a when. So the journey's going to be what the journey's going to be. And when I'm about to die on my deathbed, am I going to care about this one part of the journey? Maybe it's actually a necessary part of the journey. And that is number 3. Now, number 4. Number 4, I like to call the how silly. Subtitle, scale of the universe. Now, I'm going to read directly what I wrote in my notes because I think it's really well articulated and I don't think I can articulate it that well again. So, in the moments of overthinking, see if you can take a step back and laugh at yourself. Is it all really that serious after all? Am I main charactering too hard? If I zoom out and remember, we are made up of fallen stars, which is basically dust on a tiny planet that plummets through the universe in a small solar system, in a slightly larger galaxy, in a massive universe, made up of infinity space, tons of other galaxies. Basically, everything is irrelevant and who cares what I do, right? This is so real sometimes. You really need to go to those lengths sometimes when you're overthinking. Of like, everything is so insignificant and so irrelevant. You don't want to take this frame of thinking into pursuit of your goals. You don't want to go full nihilism, and nihilism is where you just don't care about anything, nothing matters. It's basically this frame of thinking. You don't want to go fully into that for your frame of looking at life. It's specifically just for when you're making a mountain out of a molehill. When you're doing that, you need to step back and remember that it's not that deep. If you can put yourself in the it's not that deep frame, the overthinking dissolves. When the overthinking dissolves, then you can go back to building out, this is what I want to do in life, this is where I want to go, have my purpose, do my things. That's important. But in the moments where you are taking things way too seriously, overthinking way too hard, spinning out over things that just don't make a difference and actually just make your experience harder, that's when you want to chill out. That's when you want to go nihilistic for a little bit. The way I like to think about this in a sports setting is just remind yourself how silly it is to be so caught up and invested in something that is so inconsequential. Like doing flips on a trampoline, throwing a ball around a court, kicking a ball around a field. Laugh at yourself at how seriously you take this sport and how seriously you get to take this sport. And then get back to enjoying this weird blip in time where you were born in a first world country and the thing you get to spend your time doing and worrying about is sport. Like, how silly. How silly. Hence why it's called How Silly. So you get the idea on that one. It's really just to be a little bit lighthearted about your situation. Now, number 5 is more of a technique you can use to collect data about how resilient you are, to train your resilience time. So we all can say we're resilient. I can say, yeah, I bounce back. And you can say, yeah, you bounce back. And when I was coaching this athlete, she also identified, yep, I think I'm resilient. And I said, yeah, I think I'm resilient. Because I don't give up. I keep coming back. I keep working towards my goals. I would argue, logically, if you think about that, most people do. After a hard event, they come back and they keep plugging away at something. It's pretty rare that you hear, and you hear it because it's a significant story, right? Oh, wow, she really never came back from that. That's pretty rare. Most people pick up and keep going. And if they don't, it's been a big enough event that they haven't been able to bounce back. So the idea here is, can you train your resilience? And how could you train your resilience? What's the measure of how resilient you are? If I'm claiming I'm resilient, you're claiming you're resilient, everyone's resilient. Who's really actually good at it? So what I found is it must be the time it takes you to bounce back. The time scale. The people that are really good at resilience feel the thing that's really hard, feel those deep emotions, accept those deep emotions, integrate those deep emotions, and then are able to bounce back and continue on their path. So if I have an event that pushes me down, makes me feel sad, makes me feel some negative emotions. I've tied negative emotions to that event. How long does it take me to come back up to my baseline of emotion? Is it the same day? Is it a week? Is it a month? Does it take me a while to recover emotionally from things? So if you think about it in a graph, there might be a dip and then it takes you a really long time to come back to your original baseline. And then if you think about it in the ideal version, it might just be a dip straight down and straight back up because that time scale is short. Say if our horizontal axis was time and our vertical axis was baseline emotions. I hope that makes sense. So if you're poor at resilience, it will be this really long climb back to that baseline when you have that dip of a negative event versus the ideal model, which will just look like a very small, thin dip in time. Doesn't take up too much on the horizontal axis in time, and you're back to your baseline. So what's the tool to actually measure this? Well, a lot of people already do it. They track their emotions on their phone, or they have check-ins if they're an athlete where they have to do it kind of daily. How are you feeling? How's your recovery? Where are you at today? And so you could have a look at this data over time and see, okay, do I have a dip here? And how long did it take me to get back to my baseline? And so if that's a really long time scale, you're probably not as resilient as you think. Yeah, so, and I think I've found this as well. It's like sometimes if something really gets me down, it actually takes me a few days, sometimes a week if it's big enough, or if it's a really big event, it could take me up to a couple of weeks to really move past this. And so that, I wouldn't say, is someone that's very good at resilience. And there's other scenarios where I would be better in, but if you can train it as an all-round skill, then when you hit those overthinking moments, some things get you down, an event hasn't gone the way you wanted it to, then the speed at which you can accept that emotion, integrate that emotion, pick yourself back up and get back to baseline, that is a valuable skill. Because what if you can do that in crucial moments like competition? So for me, if I have my first routine, I've fallen over, that's an event that feels negative to me, then I have to get back up and perform again. Can I bounce back? Can I bounce back in that 2-5 minute time scale? Well, I can train that. So first is just being aware of what your resilience timescale is. And then second, we'll get to it in another episode, will be how to actually train that. Integrating emotions, accepting emotions, and moving forwards back at your baseline to perform at your best. I have some extra content coming out and the website launching really within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be ready. So I'm very much looking forward to you guys seeing that. There will be forms to apply to be a guest on the podcast, which is super exciting. I have a few guests coming up, a few interview styles coming up again. They've just been a little bit postponed due to me being away and Easter break, all those types of things that just change the schedule a little bit. So we'll be back on interviews in the next couple of weeks. I'm very much looking forward to showing you who we've got on the podcast. Follow if you haven't followed yet, and please send this to anyone who you think needs it, someone that's an overthinker. And if you can be that person on the dice for them, that would be amazing. Find those people. Surround yourself with people that will give you real feedback and bring you back to reality when you need it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.